wholly unjustified and brutal invasion of Iraq. Of Ukraine.
Wars have been fought over oil. In a short matter of time, they will be fought over wars.
Well, unbelievably, we've made it. We're of age now.
That's right.
ManCon 18.
In some states, we can still buy cigarettes.
That's true.
But
most states you can buy cigarettes at 18, right?
Is it?
Did they up the age? That's right. Shit, I'm so old.
We used to have a proper country. Yeah.
And now you can vote, but you can't, ManCon can vote now. Oh, fuck.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Well, that means we could save democracy.
That's right. I don't know if you saw the same tweet that I did, but I just saw a tweet today that said the real people to blame for Hillary Clinton are, of course, Hillary Clinton losing are, of course, the leftists.
Hamas.
That did not come out for, okay? And
yes,
that's why. Fuck them or whatever. That's why liberals should hate leftists, is because the powerful voting bloc of people that sit down and, study like theory, I guess. Marxist theory.
Uh-huh.
So,
yeah.
I don't know if you know that. I'm carefully positioned too. That's the damnedest thing is just in certain states only.
Yeah. And I'm not sure. I wasn't aware of the Marxist population in
Wisconsin.
In Wisconsin. Yeah.
Madison's a college town, so I guess they got a bunch of fucking Leninist scholars. I don't know.
Yeah. No, but sure, that makes sense. Yeah. I did see one that and it was kind of this. It's like, oh yeah, and it kind of like a pile on of that of like, and if you don't come out for Al Gore, and then do you see what happens? You get George Bush, and then it's just like, well, like now wait a minute here.
Yeah. Well,
I don't want to, sound like, hey, stolen election Andy over here, but that was a literally stolen election. Okay.
Not going to tell you to do your job, but, just, I don't know, man. People are the
lefties.
The anonymity of Twitter really lends people to just put out the craziest things they just had sitting around baking inside their brains, like it is actually kind of at some points just humbling to witness like what people have just been cooking on, just like, oh yeah, all right, this one's really people gonna love this is really gonna like this is gonna make sense for a lot of folks.
Which, speaking of loving this, you're listening to Manufacturing Content.
That's right. This is
Marcus from Left Flank Vets. You can find me at twitch.tv/Left Flank Vets. Morgan every morning, and Lucid Fox
every morning. My God, and I'm Lucid Fox of Lucid Fox on the internet as Lucid Fox.
We got to do that every time.
Lucid Fox. I was remembering. I thought we were just doing a little banter.
We were a bit of banter, but we were losing it, man.
Yeah.
We had to bring it back.
People need to understand. People need to know.
Yeah,
I get it.
We got to be better than every week, and that was like that was the last improvement. So we got fuck, man. We got to do this every week.
Yeah. I hear you say.
Yeah.
I'll endeavor to just be better every week.
We got to.
If not for me, for my children's sake.
Little Braden and Shenandoah.
Those kiddos, they love their ice hockey or whatever. I don't know. I've got them enrolled in this year. Yeah. That's right. You got it.
Absolutely. Well, good luck to them.
I wish them the best in their intramural activities or whatever,
Yeah. Well, God bless America. Where So big things
huge
happening.
Huge.
It's like the biggest aid temporary port
A lot of people are saying things about Biden's big doc, all right?
Yeah.
Saying it's one of the most impressive docs they've ever seen.
It's huge.
Where was he hiding it, that they didn't notice it before? Like, maybe he walks with a limp, I don't know. But whatever it is, wow. What a powerful thing to, finally get going within the waters of Palestine, and just in time too, as earlier today the UN said they are emergency halting all food delivery because they are out of aid. So we did it, glad we got that doc in there right on time.
Right on time. I wonder if halting payments to the UN aid agency that gives. Do you think that might have?
Do you think that was it? Do you think that was maybe one of the things that might have set it off? I don't know.
Yeah.
I was told that there were so many other places that were just going to be able to step up that it didn't even matter. So
yeah. You just replace a 30,000 people workforce. No problem.
Just so easy. Is what I was told. So
yeah.
Just
So yeah, I mean, that's where like Biden, the plan that's like been 2-3 months since, oh my gosh, this is like one of those things that somewhere in the Pentagon that's they're kicking around the idea of, there being some type of fallout because, the president's supporting a genocide.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, what if we, let's shop around some ideas. Right?
Hear me out. Yeah.
Okay. And there's like, well, we've never actually been able to do this thing.
Yeah.
We've only come up with the plans. We've never actually been able to do it. So what if we did floating pier?
Yeah.
Right? Operation
Hear me
floating
out.
pier. And they're like, well, why?
Look, it sounds
why
cool.
should we do this? Why not? And that's where too is like this. So they start building this stuff. It's taking months for this stuff thing, And like as you're saying, right, of like Israel is completely closed down the Rafah gate.
Mm-hmm.
There's settlers that have been blocking gates. And now you've got roving
I should
mobs.
clarify. We were talking specifically about emergency stoppage of aid in Rafah in southern Gaza. Northern Gaza.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't think they've had delivery for months now.
Well, and like the terrain is also like even getting into and being able
they've
to
said
traverse.
themselves that Israel's just not letting them in. So
yeah. But now inside like what is it? Green Line Israel recent, like what's like understood, like even like Israel of like 1967 borders Israel, right?
Yeah.
There are gangs that are attacking that's what it is. Trucks that they
mean those kind, sweet settlers? No, I don't think they would ever. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think you should check your sources there, Marcus. That's a little unbelievable.
Would they?
My sweet. I don't think so, but all right.
So yeah, it's a big doc though.
Great big doc, and I think that's something that a lot of people don't really think about is how big this doc is.
Yeah.
It's impressive.
This world is so shitty, man. I don't know how. I feel like I'm losing it because it's just like, why are you doing this?
Well, yeah,
just to have like this where it's just like, like stop playing the games.
Yeah,
because like this is where it's got to stop.
Yeah,
if only just because this is where it's just like you really don't want that smoke, okay? And I know it sounds like crazy. And I can't believe I'm even saying it, but it's like those U.S. military personnel.
Yeah,
they need to just walk and just stand at the gate. they just need and that's where
I
too, it's
mean, if our mission was delivering aid, then yeah, I agree with you.
You just need to occupy that space and let the trucks come through.
Yeah.
And
if that was our plan, then yep, I believe the exact same thing. Yes. That is what should happen.
And
if not, then
this is like where I would say restraint in almost every situation, but those like if you need to put those U.S. military personnel there, you need to have those gates opened up, and if I'm to believe
that college students might step out of line, so we've got to goose step around them. Actual dangerous fucking settlers that are ripping aid apart, that are tossing rocks and weapons at unarmed Palestinians. Like, I'm sorry, but can we do nothing about that? Can we do nothing about the aid that we are supposed to be delivering? That was the whole point, right? Is that we are the ones that are supposed to be saving the world here. We're coming in a moment of need for the Palestinian people. We built a dock and everything for them. We got no way to protect any of these shipments from these little fucking monsters acting like middle school children tearing shit apart.
I mean, and that's where it's just like the amount of, I don't know. It's honestly, it's like opening up a live history book. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Where like all these things look eerily familiar to some things that humans, we were not supposed to engage in these types of things.
Yeah.
You know? And that's where, and like where, and this where too is like where, I'm just going to cram this in with the whole like Biden speaking at Morehouse.
Yeah. I want to touch on that as well. Yeah.
Yeah. The very little, and like, the administration this entire time has just been bold-faced lying about how much they actually, are trying to even like convince Israel and get them to not do ethnic cleansing. Yeah.
They very much care about it. All right. I think that's the most important thing.
And that's, they're just doing the work of saying they care about it, and then you still get the bombs and all that type of shit. And in the talk to Morehouse, and he said, or to the graduates from Morehouse, and he says, listen, hey, you get to, peacefully protest. And I see you, I hear you. I've got more Black people in my administration than anybody else.
Amazing. Yeah.
And he said, I've got more Black people in high places.
Yeah.
He said the words
places and places, baby. Yeah.
And this is where, like, this is not out of touch, right? I wish this was just someone speaking in an out of touch.
Yeah.
Joe Biden is a old racist individual.
Yes.
And he is saying, listen, if you act right, there's a spot for you.
That's right. If you're Bakari Sellers, if you're Hakeem Jeffries, then you've got a place. All right.
Listen, exactly. James Clyburn's got to deliver South Carolina.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But he's got a spot. So listen up. Yeah. Right. And like, it's just, it's very horrific. And the thing is too, is like a lot of these, like a clap, like you could hear people like clapping and shit like that. It's just like, those are just Biden staffers, right? Like the audience is not with you on this.
Yeah.
They're not with you on this. And the idea that you say, oh, hey, I see you, I hear you. I'm the best you've ever had it.
Yeah.
That's not it, Joe. And that's where it's like, who wrote this speech? And that's where too, it's like he repeated a lot.
Yeah, I was going to say, did somebody write? Because there was a lot that I think was just off the cuff that I saw. He did the entire Bo Burn Pit story and everything, and it's like, what the fuck? This is what is happening, man? This is a graduation. What are you doing?
Right.
So anyways, my son during Iraq, you kids remember Iraq? Oh, you were still in middle school. Well, anyways.
Yeah.
What the fuck,
are you doing,
dude?
Joe? These motherfuckers are graduating. And and this is where too he's like in like I think was it Ryan Grimm of the Intercept was I think he was trying to like follow up on this where it's like Joe Biden goes in these lies of stories from October 7th that have been debunked.
Yeah.
Right. But he go and like him. Oh, hey, I used to march for civil rights. Right. Like he's like once a politician makes up a lie that they think they can get away with.
Yeah.
That's just their life now.
Yes,
right.
Yes. They're
and
just gonna stick with it. Yeah.
Because like Chrissy, she met with Kim Jong-un. OK.
Unless it's his uncle being eaten by cannibals. He hasn't repeated that one. And I'm really hoping that just makes it into the regular rotation.
Listen, I think that was just a special one. We gotta set up more veterans and military events.
Yeah,
you know, so you gotta have a reason to bring the story out.
That's right. Yeah.
But no, and then he starts going into when I was in Israel and I saw videos and pictures of these things that have
never happened.
That have no evidence of actually happening. Yeah, and also you are talking about brutally murdering somebody.
Yes.
At a graduation, you are the president of the United States.
Yeah, you're talking about bodies burned in kerosene at a graduation. Yes. And again, I can't stress that part enough. I talked about it earlier today. That's a lie. Like I don't even. Yes. You can say whatever you want. Well, the president has access to classified things. No, I'm sorry. If those things existed, the IDF would have been. The IDF has talked about this one fucking girl for 7 months, man. That you would believe she died 5 times now. They've talked about finding her skull. They've talked about how full of life she was. Like this one fucking person. So if you're telling me that I wouldn't have seen photographic evidence that Joe Biden definitely says that he has of somebody being burned alive, you're out of your fucking mind, man.
And that's literally the first time he started doing this. The White House comes out and says like, oh, hey, it was... There was just so much carnage, it was hard the president could tell, and it's like, no, he's honestly just he's just lying for genocide. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know. It's wild. I do want to, like I say, a shout out to this, like a lot, like this is impossible. I say like, not shame on the administration of Morehouse. Like shame on you for putting those young people in that situation. Shame on fucking Joe Biden and the administration for because like this is where too is like I didn't go to an HBCU.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's actually like, especially Morehouse, right?
Sure.
Like there's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of pressure on these young people, and not just to achieve academically, right? There is a racial dynamic.
Yeah.
Right. And these young people are asked to be the black community for the president, and it's not fair to them. It's really not fair to them. And like any other time, what I'm saying, like most times, right? Sure. Because honestly, nobody would have had a problem with this October 6th, 2023.
Sure. Yeah.
Right. This would have been a campaign thing. Yeah, it would have looked shitty, but no one really would have had a problem. Yeah. Now that because you had staff, you had students, forcing this situation onto them is really, really fucked up. Yeah. And then within moments, they're using the cut up video on their campaign. It's like, y'all are like, you think this is how you're going to win over black people. I don't think you don't know what the fuck you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's treating this like a job fair, treating this like hey, listen, you all, like you said, hey, you've seen the faces in my administration. Huh? Right. Just something to think about. You may feel principled and, anti-war now, but just something to think about.
Because the thing is, too, is that, like, you're asking to shore up between 78% and, like, 83%. when it comes to the black community and voting for Democrats.
Yeah.
Right? Like they're like how much like there's not much more rain in this cloud.
Yeah.
Like Democrats, it's your people, white people. You know what I'm saying? But like it's white people. It's the white community.
True. Yeah, that's correct.
It's not like I don't know what you want from
sorry,
the
but
black
2016
community
was the white
Democrat.
community.
Yeah.
White women. All right.
Women.
I don't want to.
But like, yeah, hey.
I don't want to put them out. We all know that at this point. It's been 8 years.
Yeah. They can keep screaming, turn out for the black community. Like, no, dog. Like,
you
hey,
stay your ass away from Morehouse and go to a Taylor Swift concert, Joe Biden.
Hey.
Start talking. Hey. Touch these people, okay?
Right?
Tell them how much you fucking absolutely love Death of a Poet or whatever it is. All right? And then maybe they'll listen.
Yeah. I mean, and that's where too is like the only other college, and I'd say like those types of dynamics, right? That type of pressure, right? To say, hey, listen here, young men, the president is coming.
Yeah.
And you need to behave because you are the representation of every black American.
Yeah.
I can already see, I can hear them telling these students that prior to.
Yeah.
Right. And like, it's not like that because like the only other college campuses he can go to are the military academies.
Yes.
And like,
yeah, he's not going to like USC
at that point. Yeah. A lawful order is a lawful order. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Aye, sir. Right. Like they ain't got nothing to do. Right. And that's the thing is like Joe Biden will not touch another college campus.
Yeah.
He can't. They can't show up.
Yeah. I need to anymore after, this month. Like that's.
I mean, yeah. Well,
not showing
that's
up
where
for entrance,
It's a great campaign you got here, Joe.
Pretty good stuff. I think it's like I said, we talked about this before, but the way that his campaign is managing themselves and how they're restricting any actual like public appearances. I think it just bodes extremely well. I think, again, you and I we're just going to Chicago for a fun little vacation because they just decided to take the DNC mostly online because, hey, it's just rookie mayor or whatever. We're just worried, Ooh, what are we going to do?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. What you're going to do is contend with the fact that you've, upset your voter base to a point, no matter what it may be, no matter whether it may be anti-war protests, no matter whether it may be you've incensed the voter base on, X, Y, or Z factors. Like, seems like a lot of people aren't happy, my man. And instead of contending with that, you're just like, well, the answer, of course, is to really exude strength and portray like a very well put together, competent campaign. The answer is to do a Zoom call.
Yeah.
That'll inspire folks, That'll really show them.
Because, and like, I don't know. It's, man, yeah. That's where it's just like you look at these things and you look at history, like, history doesn't repeat itself, but it rhymes, like Vivek Ramaswamy, right? It's the same word over and over again because, like it doesn't matter. And like, that's where it's like, you want to do this Zoom stuff. And I mean,
you can,
it's just showing like, it's not only doing bad politics, but it's also showing a complete lack of confidence.
Correct. And this is, I forget who said it over the past week. I don't know if we talked about it. I think maybe Scahill of The Intercept, or maybe it was somebody from the Washington Post. But they said, the way I see it, who knows what happens, but I think things are close enough come November that the person that's hungrier is going to take it home. All right. Doesn't matter anything else. Doesn't matter about Trump's, pending convictions, any of that stuff. Just whoever at the end of the day is hungrier is probably going to take this thing home. And I'm sorry, man, but the Democrats, they look stuffed right now, you know? They look extremely content in their home, you know?
I love it. I love it when political references go to sports ball.
Yeah.
And they actually do work.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? they actually land.
I'm sorry,
like, that's the thing,
but
is like,
fourth quarter, 2 minutes left. If you think you've already won the game, all right.
You gotta go out there and be a dog.
Yeah.
Like, that's what's like the shit.
I don't
where
know
it's
if
just
you've ever seen, you know, Adam Vinatieri before, but that man's a demon. Come 1 minute, 30 seconds. Okay.
Oh my God. God. And because it's, and honestly, and that's where though, it's just like from what it looks like, the Biden campaign is the COVID Biden campaign.
Yes.
You know, there's a few select like talks that he's doing to try and shore up a very, these specific constituencies, hit up the donors, put out videos.
Yes.
You know, and, you know, Kamala's probably going to go out there and, you know, I mean, but that's the thing too, is like they all have to do very, very curated events. They can't actually do any type of like public event. It all has to be, we know who is coming into this room. And that's where too is like, and there's no any guarantee that some of the people who are haven't changed their mind and said, I need to protest someone that I've supported my entire life because there's a genocide going on.
Yeah. And
I can't help but see what's happening. This campaign is just ass. It is the same ass COVID campaign. Plus you are completely dispelling your base.
Yeah.
Where, especially too, when it comes to these college students who, if not for the encampment, these are the students that would have been the get out the vote volunteers. They would have been working on all of the different issue area campaigns.
This summer would be your real network of folks that are getting out, you know,
especially in DC.
Yeah.
Right. Like the encampment of the DC colleges. Like Joe.
Yeah.
These are your future staffers.
Yeah.
Right. These literally you're having the cops come in and kick this shit out of like interns.
Yeah.
Your interns.
Yeah.
Like, where do you think these people work?
Yeah.
And what are you doing? It's just so what? It's so wild to see it. And then they're saying, well, maybe they shouldn't have protested. You're causing Brandon to lose with all this protesting you're doing. Maybe you should shut up.
You're making me do this. All right.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's it's going to be a very interesting, it'll be a very interesting fall and a very interesting November, I think, still.
Oh, yeah.
With every passing week that we see a lot of his public appearances, like I said, like the craziest thing, Wisconsin, a swing state that he needs desperately, right? One of the voters, I will not forget it. One of the voters that was interviewed by CNN said, I was undecided before he came. He did bring millions of dollars via the Inflation Reduction Act to Wisconsin, but his visit held up cement trucks while we were trying to pour foundation. And I think for that reason, I'm going to have to vote for Trump. It's like, good.
They literally just hate you, Joe.
Yeah, right? I'm sorry, but if that's all it takes to swing somebody's opinion on you, that's crazy, man. You don't really have a lot to offer these folks. No. And if you're just like, if ruining, like being in the way of their day, I get it. That's the regular American experience, right? Somebody fucking cuts in front of you in traffic, they're dead to you for life. But
And I mean, it honestly, for me, it just seems like in the same way that's like they kept like a lot of people like, well, there's no way Trump gets out of this one, right?
Yeah.
Like, they have like kind of like the same hope of like, well, there's no way some of these moderate Republicans vote for Trump this time, you know? And it's like, no, they're going to find a dipshit reason.
This is why they want to activate Haley voters. And it's like, you fucking, you dumbass frogs hopping on the scorpion's back. Are you serious?
And that's where the thing is.
You think Nikki Haley voters are going to be like, well, I was going to vote Nikki Haley, but I guess Biden's okay. These people are fucking maniacs, man.
And they're just waiting. And like, this is where it's like, whoever the VP pick is, they're going to find a way to squeeze their Trump dissent into, well, at least this VP pick is going to keep them under wraps or some shit like that. Like they were,
or,
like,
you know, there's, who knows with these very old politicians, at least this VP pick would be a good successor just in case anything happens.
Yeah.
Who knows if he's going to make it?
Yeah. Because that's where I just like it's just a bad, I think it's a bad gamble.
Yeah.
It's a very dangerous and bad gamble. And, you know, I really can't wait to be blamed for this. You know what I'm saying? If Trump wins, I really can't wait for someone to just say, hey, if you had any type of critical opinion of Joe Biden, this is all your fault. When it's just like, no, you know, like, hey, dog, I don't know what to tell you. You know what I'm saying?
I'd love to fix this thing for you. But...
Oh, man. Well, speaking of fixing problems.
Hey, man. I think this one's going to work. I was just talking about how meaningful and impactful the ICC decision is, and how we're just gonna I will say, like, out of snark for a second. Obviously, it is very important for countries like France, countries like Norway to be saying, "I'll fucking arrest Benjamin Netanyahu. I'll do it." Like, that's huge. That is a very important like signal before there is even an arrest warrant issued. Them saying, of course, we will follow the international rule of law. Damn sight better than we'll do. That being said, the cynical part comes in, and there's no fucking way that the United States is going to allow something like that, or, you know, that Benjamin Netanyahu isn't going to use that to further punish the Palestinians.
Yeah, no, and this is, I think where most of this matters, where most of this affects change in any of these types of things, because it is a really disturbing fact of humanity that we have to realize, is that the protests in the moment, it is a slower moving ball, right? Than should be allowed.
This is not an immediate outcome that people, you know, I mean, this was a discussion about the ICC a year ago, you know, like,
so
it will continue to be, this is going to be a thing that takes an immense amount of time.
Yeah.
We may not see the fruit of this for years, if not over a decade. It does seek to weaken the case of the state of Israel. You know?
And that's where it is moving towards a more just, right? Like, if there is a critique of international law, if there is a critique of the ICC, this decision and the support, it goes towards the, you know, what most people would say is a solution of everybody being held accountable, right?
Which, you know, I'll say Netanyahu said today in an address, putting an arrest warrant out for me would be like putting an arrest warrant out for Bush after 9/11. It's like, well, I mean,
this is where, like, the thing where it's
your
just
terms,
like,
sir.
Yes. Sir. Because this is where too, it's like a lot of these like absolute ghouls, they start just like, hey, so what? We're gonna what? Put Obama on trial for drone striking a wedding? Hey, don't threaten me with a good time. Yeah.
Who else you want to pull out? You know?
Right.
If it's Israel now, it's us next.
Hey, listen, dig Rummy and Colin Powell up.
Yeah.
And just slide their coffin across the courtroom.
Dig up Cheney too. Wait, hold up. I'm just hearing he's still.
Yeah. That's
crazy.
What the fuck, man? How many hearts does Cheney have? Because I think they've stopped replacing him, and they just started adding on.
Yeah. An
He's like the Harkonnen guy from Dune, right? He's just gonna be lying in a pit of oil, like 3 different hearts just judging it, like fuck. But no, yeah, that's the thing where.
My Halliburton.
Yes, you're right. Are we supposed to hold every war criminal accountable? Yes.
Well, they gave it away, right?
Yes.
I believe the chief prosecutor for the ICC, they had him on for an interview, and he said he was told by a senior, a senior operative, American, for sure, that they do not prosecute countries like Israel and the U.S. You were supposed to prosecute the thugs, places like Russia, places like Sudan, those are the places.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, well,
because it
lays it all clear, doesn't it?
Because this is where these like these little fuckheads, like Lindsey Graham and Brian Mast, right?
God damn, yeah.
They're straight up just because like this is where it, and this is like going back to like the initial position of like what does this actually do, right? And it erodes U.S. hegemony. It fractures this stranglehold the United States has on, and that's where too is like I wouldn't even describe it as a stranglehold, right?
Yeah.
But obviously the United States is the dominant like country, and this very much is and by choice, right? Yeah. There are countries. This is not if you don't do this, we will invade you, right? These are countries saying, oh my God, y'all are this is beyond the pale. Yeah. Right. And then, where it's very slow and for me, it just shows that, like if it wasn't obvious before, the United Nations is not capable of accomplishing its original goal, which is stopping international conflict and genocide.
True.
It failed.
True. Yeah.
Failure, right?
Yep. Absolutely.
And it's an immense thing of reinstituting a global order. But at the end of the day, the League of Nations, for a lot of reasons, right? Like that can be pointed to, these things didn't happen by action. There's structural failures that allowed for global conflict and genocide. And so recognizing it was a failure, they tried again. Yes. Now we can understand there's a whole lot of reasons why this UN is not working, right? And there's structural reasons, but here we are again. And the ICC, and this is where coming back to this structure is shifting. Yeah. And where the chief prosecutor not only saying, hey, there are U.S. officials, which I'm putting we're both kind of reading between the lines where he's talking about U.S. officials probably saying, hey, you're the Africa Criminal Court, not the International Criminal Court. So what the hell is your problem, bro? Yeah. And historically that is true. But the fact that this is even happening is just saying, well, things are just different now. Yeah. This is what that means. And it is an indictment of the system that it's notable. It's also indictment of the system, the fact that there is any type of like, oh my God, they're actually doing it. You know, it shows how George Bush should have been brought up for war crimes, right?
Yeah.
they should have at least said something, right? There should have been sanctions on the United States for its actions, right? There should have been some sort of global response to war crimes. But when it comes to the United States, there's just not.
Yeah.
Usually when it comes to the United States allies, there's just not until now. And so here we are. And then you've got U.S. officials literally threatening the International Criminal Court, the prosecutor, his family and shit. Like, it's crazy to hear these people in one sense and say like, oh, rule of law, rule of law. And then like you got this prosecutor who says, hey, I see crimes. You disgusting piece of shit.
You don't even have jurisdiction.
Get out of here.
That was the craziest thing from Matt Miller, where he's like, they don't have jurisdiction, but we have jurisdiction, but we don't have criminal jurisdiction, but we still have some jurisdiction. It's like, hey, man, if I chase you around with a hammer, huh? Like, what are you fucking talking about? Yeah, you have jurisdiction in what way? All right. Well, we have jurisdiction over the weapons we've given them. That's an interesting point. We should talk about that more.
Yeah.
What do they use those weapons for?
Because you say jurisdiction over your weapons, and others say criminal culpability. Yeah. Right. It's weird how you're kind of just connecting yourself to war crimes, but
man. Yeah. And then he goes on to say, like, oh, well, you know, they've got this undermines Israel because they've got investigations open. It's like, well, all right, then I agree. They should have a permanent ceasefire until those investigations conclude, just so we know. Doesn't give them room to do any more war crimes. They can look into the current war crimes they've got going on, right?
Yeah. You know, just take a pause, take a break, look into your own war crimes.
Yeah. Like, you can help them, you know, and you guys can sit down together.
Which, in that, you know, yeah, who knows?
Yeah.
I think, and that's where, I hope, you know, and this is not just a hope that like you could sit back and rest on, like, obviously, like, not only, you know, just Palestinians and their strength to survive genocide and ethnic cleansing and still being able to project outward to the world that, like, we're still here and we're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
You know, people around the world that have been getting out on the streets for months and, like, not because, like, this is where solidarity is a really powerful thing where once people see that they're not alone, you know, once people know like that there are other people who feel the same way they do, and it all starts what they call it a movement, right? Because one student encampment in New York, right?
Yeah.
On some elite, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're talking about some like one of the most elite schools. And now you have a international thing happening.
Yeah.
That and, you know, and this, so, you know, ICC comes up and, you know, you've got France and the officials saying, hey, and all this too is like background of like,
seems right. Yeah.
Countries like Colombia, Brazil, Egypt out recently, right. Of like Turkey, you know, like cutting off ties, or, you know, it continues. It push you, but, you know, these are, you know, you like people got to get involved in helping, but then it's a continuous thing. But this is the, you know, the only apartheid state that we've seen dismantled was because of a global, you know, international effort that ended up with sanctioning and completely cutting off economic ties to the point where they said, okay, we're done. And I hope that's where this is going. I hope this is actually leading and crushing to another apartheid state.
Yeah.
And whatever happens after that, who cares? Because like at this point right now, it's like people need to eat. The starving people in Gaza need to be able to live, and that's the first thing that needs to happen. Yeah. And every IDF soldier needs to get the fuck out of there.
Yeah, not wrong.
Yeah.
Well, I hate to make such a sharp turn here, but we do have a recurring segment here on the podcast. That's right. It's helicopter safety hour, chat. We're going to sit down. We're going to talk about the best way that you can be safe inside of your helicopters. This week, obviously, we're talking, of course, about the Iranian president.
Yeah. Went down.
Man, that's crazy. Listen, I have always known that helicopters are a plaything of the rich that ultimately lead to their demise. Okay, like they are made for a very specific person or a very, very specific purpose. Yeah. Very specific people that have way too much money and just like getting inside of doohickeys that eventually kill them. All right.
Yes. Yeah.
And the Iranian president is still a man, no different, honestly. So
listen, because the thing is too, and I'm a powerful man.
Yeah.
Because as soon as and that's where too is that we're like, right, this world, now is just like you hear something and everyone's like, oh my God, what does this mean? Right.
Yeah.
And at first reporter, I remember seeing the headline of like, Iranian president, a helicopter has hard landing. I'm like, yeah, I'm sure he's all right. I'm sure he's fine. Hard landing in the mountains of Iran?
Yeah.
It's all smoke, foggy out. I'm sure he's going to be fine.
Yeah, those mountains are notoriously extremely forgiving. Yeah.
Then they were reporting that they might be leopards out there that might get to them. No. And then I started to worry.
Yeah.
Because God forbid.
Yeah, I don't want anything. I don't want to run leopards. He'll survive that crash. But
no, all this is. I mean, honestly, I think this is a labor rights issue, right? Because I can't imagine that pilot said, "Yes, sir."
Honestly, you knew. Okay, there was a forecast. They said it's bad weather. Not only that, it's extremely dense fog, and he's just like, "Sounds good to me."
Yeah, he's like,
you know what? Let me take the least dependable form of aerial transportation. Should be.
I can just see the president. Yeah, turning to him is like, listen, if you want to see your kids again, I better see my house tonight. You understand? And he's like, well, shit.
I've got to get home. All right. There's some Prima Blanca cut out on the table. All right. You think I'm just gonna sit here? No, get out there.
Yeah. You think I'm going to sit here in this 5-star hotel that the government pays for us to be at? I want to go home now.
Just a wild, again, there's a lot. I think our generation has witnessed some of the craziest ways for politicians and former politicians to go out, And I think a long time, from Shinzo Abe last year getting taken out by one doohickey to the Iranian president getting taken out by another. It is unprecedented times. Gives me hope for the future for other doohickeys, honestly.
Of all doohickeys until we can figure out what the hell is going on.
No, hey, listen, I'm full steam ahead on doohickeys. Let's not forget the other doohickey that took out those billionaires in the fucking sea.
Yeah, the doohickeys.
These doohickeys are winning, man. They're doing the Lord's work out there. There's some great doohickeys.
Yeah, I will say I was rooting for those space doohickeys. Those space doohickeys were a little bit too reliable for my
entirely
liking.
Too dependable. The blue ocean, yeah. Entirely too dependable.
Oh my God. It's so wild. Don't get in a helicopter. Okay.
I'm sorry. I have never in my life been compelled to get into a helicopter. I took one. There was a point, I think sometime in high school or college. No, it was high school. We went on a class trip and everything. And one of the things they were like, all right, some people are going off to do helicopter rides. And I was like, I just looked at him. I was like, what the? No, we have so much to live for. What are you doing?
Have you seen Final Destination?
We're in the prime of our lives, all right? I don't understand the compulsion. I've never needed to get somewhere mildly faster.
Yeah, which I look back on, it's like, so being in the Marine Corps, the Osprey.
Yeah.
The Labradoodle of aircraft.
Yeah.
Like
the broke ass ornithopter. Yeah.
It's disgusting how just ridiculous, right? It's like, because like you get in the thing and it's like, okay, this is like every other helicopter that I feel like I'm about to die in, right?
Yes.
And then once it goes into airplane mode.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, this is fine, right?
Yeah.
But when it goes from airplane mode to helicopter mode, and this was like the quote unquote trick. Yeah. This was the thing that they would just fall out of the skies, because this is not meant to happen.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like going from flying into like, helicopter mode. The dynamics are like it's like it feels like you're slamming on the brakes. Yeah. Like you're driving down the highway, you slam on the brakes. You feel like that, except you're in midair. And then you just kind of hope that it's able to, and for way too many times, it's an Osprey. And like, it's like, this is a few months ago, there's another Osprey crash. It still happens regularly.
Sure does.
Oh my God.
It's crazy, man.
Like never again, ever would I even, bro. You know what I'm saying? Put never, because it's just why?
Yeah, it's terrifying, man.
Trains, honestly, I feel like a really badass, armored up. You know what I'm saying?
That's such a cooler way to travel as a president of a country, too. It's like I had these people lay train tracks overnight to the place that I'd like to go to. I'm taking my armored train there now. No one would question you. What a look, what a serve. This, taken out by a doohickey. No respect in that,
Yeah.
It's not
fucking loser. And that's where too is like they can't even step. You're just just a big pile of goop.
Yeah,
in the back of a doohickey that fell out of the sky. Because and this where too is like you see the fog when they're like, we're having trouble finding it. But it's like, no shit, dude.
Yeah.
Why? And this is where it's like, I know, like that pilot was just like, excuse me, sir, and he was just like, get me home now. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like there's no way that someone says like, yeah, we're gonna be fine in this. Yeah. No one that anyone that knows about flying is like, yeah, this is fine actually. But hey, although the thing is, what I do is I think it's funny is that like the idea that this is like meaningful in any way, right? Mm-hmm. People are like, was it Israel and their fog gun? Or, what does this mean for the transition of power? Are the Iranians going to rise up? And like, shut up. Like, nothing's going to happen. Like, God damn it. Continuity of government is not something that is just for the West, right?
Yeah.
But
it's, I don't know. That's a whole nother discussion. It's just like, I don't know. We'll just figure it out,
I mean, they're a government. They have the backup, right? There's advice.
They got somebody else there. It's going to be all right.
Yeah.
Probably. Oh,
but speaking of officials who can't be replaced,
man, 80 years, right? He turned 80.
Yeah, I think
I didn't pay attention to the story too much, but
180. Well, that's his age isn't the important part. Okay?
Yeah, America's mayor. That's what's
America's mayor.
America's mayor
got served at his birthday party.
Yeah. Now hold up. Now again, I didn't read the story that thoroughly, but is it true that the process server sang happy birthday with everybody else to him? Is that real?
I think
I saw a joke about it and I was like, is that real or not? Because that would be extremely funny.
Listen, for the enjoyment of my life, regardless of the facts, I choose to believe. Okay.
Yeah.
I choose to believe that on the last note of the song, he was handing him the paper.
I will say I did read that his friends and family members, some of the women started literally screaming when this person showed up.
Crying.
Yeah, screaming and fucking screaming, crying, throwing up.
Shitting, farting.
Like wild.
It was horrible.
What an amazing way to celebrate your birthday. Somebody shows up and they're like, "Hey, listen, nothing personal."
And now he's selling coffee.
Yeah. Great venture. Everybody's doing it.
There's no reason why anyone should trust this country.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm always saying that. That's true.
Like it's just a clown country.
Yeah, it's a nonsense place. Again, I've said this before to you. I think there was a part of me when I was a kid, right? When I was like 12 or 13, and I was like, I looked at my parents and I was like, these motherfuckers have it figured out. I don't know shit. I'm a small child. I am at their whims, and they've got no way they don't have all this figured out, right? And then I grew up and I was like, oh my God, they fucking did not have anything figured out. That's crazy. Because I don't, and most people don't. And even people that exude this idea that they don't.
Yeah, because the thing is that you're believing, oh, hey, they got it figured out. And these are the people, right, who think Rudy Giuliani had it figured out.
Yeah.
And this man is a complete moron, right? Yeah. Like, it's like the thing where, too, of like, there and people like Tommy Tuberville, right?
Amen, real tight.
He is like, and there's only 100 of them, right?
Yeah. That's the thing to think about too.
Is the old ball coach.
Yeah, one of them is the old ball coach. Another one is a guy that forces me to believe that he just has to wear fucking basketball shorts to work every day. Otherwise, he'll get the fucking Sunday scaries.
Fucking,
and I just like,
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, like all these people, like none of these people like exude this idea to me where I'm like, oh, okay, they know what's going on.
No, they literally don't. They don't know anything, and they don't know. Like so many of them don't know shit. Yeah. That's where it's like where like someone like Ro Khanna, like his, has a grasp on foreign policy that most of the legislator doesn't, or even, like Bernie of like his actual grasp of policy, right? That either most, politicians refuse, or they just actually are that ignorant.
Yeah.
There is a subset
again, like you got that one incident, right? Like last week that was extremely funny. But when Marjorie Taylor Greene went to insult somebody and got completely torched in response, right? Her counter response to that the next day is just post a fucking video of her working out like furiously. And it's just like, what the fuck are we doing here, man? Like, not like, you know what? I'm quite knowledgeable on the law, more than you actually, and let me provide some points to which I believe that you are incorrect. No, she's just like,
yeah,
look at me.
Yeah, you think this is bad belt?
Yeah. That's it. Man, we're cooked.
Yeah. But that's the thing where it's that, like, as far as politics concerned, and some of these Republicans, MTG is going to be one of the few that makes it out of this. Yeah. And as scary as that is to say, like, I that's the writing on the fucking wall right now.
No, hey, she's got her own cult down in Georgia, man, and has for a while.
Yeah. And like the quote unquote, like the moderate Republicans, right? Like the people that like Joe Biden and Nancy Pelosi just like want to exist, but they're going away, like they're literally leaving, or they're choosing not to run for election again. And as much, like there's just more of the MAGA crowd. They're not stopping.
Yeah.
This is where it's like, they're like the dipshit Terminator, right? You can't reason with it.
Yeah.
Okay. You can't convince it to stop. It must be defeated. And the Democrats are just if you're just sitting there praying for a stronger Republican Party, this is not how you defeat, any of this.
No. Real loser mentality, actually.
Very much so. Very much so, yeah.
Oh. Yeah. Well,
on that cheery note.
That's okay. That's why we have silver linings, Marcus, okay? That's why it exists in the first place. What do you got? What are you looking forward to?
Silver lining, I'm looking forward to seeing what do they call this? The like the future documentary where they use a time machine, they film what the world's going to be like, and then they come back and air it. But either way, so there's a new Mad Max movie coming out that looks pretty
Furiosa.
dope.
Yeah, I thought I was about to say Furiosa was going to be mine. I want to go watch that shit, man.
Hey, maybe
I've heard that it's insanely good.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool. Pretty cool. Because like the thing is where there's a lot of there's a little some like a teenage dickhead in my that still exists that just wants to watch a movie where there's a lot of explosions and shit.
Yeah.
Right.
Hey, listen,
I just want
George Miller delivers. He's the king of film.
Yeah. I just want to be a child again. And then
I want that wonder. Yeah.
Yeah. And
I want to see dudes explode. Wonder
how many minutes before the actual world looks just like this.
Yeah. 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 Between that and Megalopolis, man, it's going to be a good year, I think.
Megalopolis.
The one, it's so, oh God, okay. So 2 seconds, I can explain this to you. So Francis Ford Coppola has an entire fucking passion project, right? He's been working on it for years. Like there's so many fucking stories from the set. He's just been a crazy person about it. But this is like his auteur, needs to be made no matter what. Wouldn't even get picked up by American film companies. They told him to fuck off. Imagine telling Francis Ford Coppola to fuck off. The guy that, but anyways, so instead he got picked up by a French film company. It's going to be coming out soon. And I just have to see it. You'd love it, actually. It is about a authoritarian, dystopian America, and watching, the how far the downfall has come upon this society. Drugs, drinking, everything in it. It looks great. Looks exactly my speed. So
see, that's where though some of the when you start getting into the some of the real heady film stuff,
Yeah.
It's where I start to check out.
That's fair. Hey, listen, no, I think this one would be right along your wheelhouse.
You brought it back in when you said there's rampant drug use.
Yeah,
so,
yes, yeah. It's we'll go over the trailer later.
Okay. All right. Well, hey, that's a pretty thick silver lining.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
We did okay. Better every week.
Better. Next week we'll have even more exciting things. Maybe new fun surprises soon.
Yeah.
Until then, we'll see y'all next week. Like, subscribe, do all the things.
Peace.
Later.